What's going on, guys? This is Clipen. I've made a few videos that I posted in the community, and I wanted to get this off my chest for a long time, but I figured I'd wait till closer to the end of the beta to put this video out. And the biggest question I have for the community, and even for myself that I've been thinking about, is do esports and Halo have longevity to last, 10, 15, 50 years down the road and have viewership, that can support every scene, not only Halo. The reason I started thinking about this a lot is because I'm a finance major. I'm actually a senior, even though, I look like I'm 16. But in investments, you don't really base a company off of, just one year. If a company is doing great one year, obviously that's a good thing. It could get more investment for that company, but when smaller businesses are trying to grow, they're going to go to angel investors, which are going to, give them maybe a loan of about $1 million, which they'll repay to that person plus, a certain amount of money. Obviously, it's different in every case, but, when you see a company like MLG, that's how they're growing. They need to find investors, and investors always look long term. So let's say, it was doing great. MLG was doing great with Halo back in like the golden age, as people call it, but then Halo dropped off. So as everyone's, bitching at them, I can't believe you dropped Halo, they realized, hey, Halo isn't the Halo they used to know. There isn't the amount of viewers that they needed. So they went to PC gaming so they could keep themselves growing because they knew, they're a business, they need to grow. Which at the time, I was even one of those people that was hating on MLG. I was so mad at them because, I loved Halo and it was just really upsetting. But for them, they made the right decision, and I learned about that and realized that they actually did. So the reason I'm saying do esports have longevity is because we basically get a new game for Halo every 2 or 3 years, and for Call of Duty it's every year. So it's hard for them to sustain viewers when the game keeps changing. And the reason I think about it like that is because with sports, the Super Bowl is probably the most watched sporting event in the United States, at least, and football has barely changed since it was created. The same goes for soccer. I'm actually repping the James jersey, a Colombian player who went to Real Madrid, if anyone watches soccer out there. But the World Cup is, I think, heck, that might be the most watched sporting event, ever. And these are things, the game has barely changed, They stick to their core, which is something that we've seen Halo stray very far from. And, obviously community members are getting mad at. And although Call of Duty has kind of kept to its core, even with Advanced Warfare, there's different aspects and there's different game types, so it's always changing. So I think to keep viewers, we have continued to grow as, video gaming has become more popular. The money's at the tournaments, $1 million tournaments, but 5 years down the road, are the people that we're watching today still going to be watching, such as me? If they're going to keep changing Halo so much, I might, 5 years from now have a job and I flip it on whatever on my computer to watch an event, and I'm thinking, what is this game? I don't know this game. Someone who played Halo 1 will see Halo 5. They don't know the game. It's not the same game, but when it comes to sports, someone who watched soccer 10 years ago and then they decide to watch the World Cup, it's the same game. They understand it. They see how much skill it takes because they know the game, but it just isn't the same with a lot of video games. So I honestly, I'm worried about that because I think there needs to come a time when there is a game created for FPS competition on console that we really stick to. It's hard to keep changing because you have to worry about how many viewers we're going to get down the line, and that's what investors look at. They're looking at their, the capital they're giving and how much that's going to increase over 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They're not thinking year by year, which is what a lot of people do because we're getting a new game so often. So I just think it's tough to guess, but I see the PC games such as League, even Gandhi's game now, Smite, they're doing great, but I feel like they kind of stick to the game. Even when they, make another version of it, it's just so similar that anyone can watch it and they understand it. And with Halo, obviously, we've seen that's not happening. And I'm not saying 343 is a horrible developer. They've worked with the community so much for this, but they're making a different game. Like, we know it isn't Halo as we knew Halo. It's a new game. And some of the old heads who used to play Halo 2 and even Halo 3, I guess you can say that's an older game now too. They don't see Halo 5 and think that's Halo. So I don't know if those people are going to be watching. I mean, when there's a lot of money, everyone will watch, but at some point you need to stick to what you know, because when people watch, they kind of want to get a sense that they played that game, and that's the same with sports, in my opinion. Everyone knows, how difficult it is to throw a long pass, to catch a long pass in football, to shoot a soccer ball or do a skill move in soccer, even tennis or anything. These games just haven't changed. The athletes have just gotten better, and I think that's something that esports might need to think about, because it's difficult. And I think right now it's turned into, there's fans connected to certain players, which is a good thing. Like, Nadeshot pulls this many fans, and if Optic went to a different game, especially if Nadeshot went to a different game, I bet all of his fans would come with him, which is great. But you have to think, when people get older, are they going to keep watching? And you need to build viewers. It can't just be 13-year-old kids. That's your whole viewer base, in my opinion, at least. So, let me know what you guys think. I'm actually curious what the community thinks about this. It's definitely something to think about, because it's scary to think that it could end, especially with just Halo. I think esports might keep going to different games, but we want it to grow. Like, that's what you want. That's why I think people should watch other games if they can, get to know other games in the scene and support everything, because it's really one whole thing. But yeah, thanks for checking out this video, and I'm going to post this on Team Beyond forums, of course. Thanks for checking this out. Later.